Hey everyone, raise your hand if you have a puppy like somewhere in your backpack or something. Or just a plastic bag from a puppy that you found. All right, everyone, so this one is about ticketing. I know nobody's really interested in this topic. It seems to be something that's simplified and easy for everyone, so this should be, just kidding, here's Jesse Lawrence.
Thank you. It's tough going up against just a cage of puppies, but we'll do our best to make this entertaining. It's certainly not going to be as cute as you can see by the look of all of us, but I think it'll be informative, and ticketing is a topic that lots of people have questions about. I think it's pretty murky. We'll do our best to try to make it clear as a festival promoter how you should be thinking about the ticket market. So I think we'll start with kind of defining what the market looks like in 2024, and in the process introduce ourselves and what each of our companies do. I'll go ahead and start. I run a company called FanIQ, which is a social marketing platform for teams, venues, and festivals. We work with every primary ticketing platform in the history of mankind, I think. I can count 20 to 25, so we know the space well. I also have we have a sister brand called TicketIQ, which is a secondary marketplace and has no fee tickets, so we know sort of both sides of the equation, and I've got a great panel here that I think represent really the, all sides of the business in 2024, and I'll pass it over to Ed. Ed, do you want to grab a mic, or? Yeah, I think.
Hey everyone, I'm Ed. I'm an ex-festival promoter, so kudos to the guys in the room still doing it. Toughest job in the world. I moved to the dark side of ticketing. I work for a platform called Easol, and really we're kind of redefining what primary ticketing is. It's an e-commerce platform for the experience industry, which is what you guys produce. And we're just kind of really helping promoters build their business away from ticketing, which has evolved over the last few years. And we think taking back control of your business is kind of core to our belief. And keen to talk to as many people in the room about how we can help you. Side note, I flew in from London yesterday. It's the first time I've seen sunshine in about 6 months, so thanks for having me.
Brando.
Hello. Okay, thanks. I'm Brando Rich. I'm from Vermont. I also don't see sun, so this is nice. I run CashorTrade.org. Before it's a platform, it's a face value movement of fans who are coming together to support one another and buy, sell, and trade tickets at face value to avoid scalping and scamming. It's started in 2009 just as a way to help fans kind of trade tickets around without the friction in the ticketing industry, and it's grown to over 400,000 users and 1 million across our social networks.
Hey guys, I'm Bryan with Ticketsauce and Night Out. We are a primary ticketing software. We're fully white labeled. We work with a wide variety of clients, from festivals to venues to nonprofits, agencies, semi-pro sports, etc. So looking forward to the panel today.
Hi. I'm Jed Weitzman. Oh, hi. Okay, great. Hi, I'm Jed. Nice to see you guys. And I am the head of music at a company called Logitix. And Logitix, at its basic, the basis of Logitix is a place where you can help understand how to best monetize your inventory. So rights holders can figure out how to get the most out of their tickets. I'm the head of music, and what I do is work with artists every day, and promoters and ticketers, to help them understand how to better route and scale their tours, and understand how to better sell their tickets by analyzing the secondary market. So yes, I understand the secondary market. I understand that it's not an awesome place, but I also understand that it's a reality and something that everybody in this room needs to be aware of, understand, and figure out how to take control of. So there you go.
Awesome, thank you guys. So we've got primary, post-primary slash secondary, primary, secondary. So we've really got all the parties around the table here to have an interesting conversation. And I'd like to start with upfronts, which has been part of the model of festival development for years and years. I think I'm curious to hear from everyone, what's the state of that today, and what are the pros and cons of an upfront from a ticketing company as you think about financing your festival?
Yeah, I can jump in. I mean, I'm an ex-promoter myself, so 12 years ago when we started our festival, we never really considered the kind of upfront advance thing. I think it became very prevalent as we went on, and we found that a lot of our kind of dealings with ticket companies quickly became, who's got the most money and who can give us a leg up. I think naively we took that as a kind of cash-free, interest-free kind of cash injection and a loan. Just from kind of my personal experience, it ended up being a kind of negative because, yes, we got some money at the start, but the relationship that we had with our ticketing software became something other than a ticketing software, and we were leaning on a business that was not set up to finance anything. Ticket companies are not legislated financiers. There's not many industries that you will go into outside of events where you would approach a software provider and then also ask them for some money to cash flow your business. Easol quite openly does not engage in the practice of advances. We believe that taking the hard road, if that's the perception of finding private equity or private finance, will just mean that event promoters will learn part of the business that is kind of hidden from them, right? Taking an easy, quick conversation with a ticketing partner and getting a check means that you're not engaging with a side of any commerce that exists, and removing cash flow away from ticketing means that as you grow as a business, because that's what you are, when you want to diversify your portfolio, when you want to move into other sectors, you're not kind of reliant on that cash flow of your business being related to your ticket sales. Me personally, we came unstuck. As many people in this room started off a festival, we developed a really niche audience, young people who understood the music that we were kind of putting out, and it grew. And then 10 years on, we kind of were stuck in the rut of, to do the event next year, we need a cash injection from a ticketing partner, and whether that was the best partner for us to help us excel our business in other areas became secondary to who can give us the money. And 10 years later, we grew up. I was 22 when we started. When we got to 32, we didn't know what 22-year-old kids wanted to listen to anymore. And we found ourselves not being able to diversify our business in other areas because we were reliant on, ticket sales equals cash injection.
Yep.
So yeah, I think the state of the market is pretty crazy. Anyone who works in ticketing will know there's always stories of crazy deals being thrown around. One thing I would say is that ticketing companies, if we sat around a table, no one wants to do advances. It's not something that a ticket company wants to get into. If you can do a ticketing deal based on platform capabilities, software, building a partnership to help each other grow a business, that's where everyone will want to sit. Unfortunately, market conditions dictate that ticket companies, for the most part, have to come with this cash advance, and then the story becomes who's got the deeper pockets. And sometimes the people with the deeper pockets aren't the best business partners.
Bryan, I'm interested in your take as a primary as well.
Yeah, we as Ticketsauce are in the similar lane that Ed is. I think ultimately for the promoter, festival producer, and the fan, it's a bad deal across the board. Because ultimately the best way to look at it, if you do the math, it's essentially a high interest loan, right? Whether it's an advance or a signing bonus, we as the ticketing company are looking to 2, 3, 4x that, right? So either it's going to come out of your end because you're not able to capitalize on some royalties or upside with the additional fees, or it certainly is going to come out of the fans' end, right? Because they're going to be paying a higher service fee than if you didn't have that. So if you can find a way to generate, that investment through a private party, sponsors, etc. That's what I would recommend doing. And on our end, we definitely have dabbled in certain partnerships where we've wrote checks where it made sense. But again, it's not something that we ever want to do. And I think with now our approach now, kind of post-COVID, which has been nice to kind of reset the market and structuring the deal, right, when it comes to ticketing and the producer, right, coming up with a creative service fee structure that not only works for the ticketing company, right, where they feel good about it, we feel motivated, we're excited about the partnership, not only the revenue, but overall just providing a great service. But then also on your end, as the producer, right, you have some upside, right, that you can share in on a royalty, which obviously can generate more revenue on every ticket sold. Or, again, you can pass that savings on to the fan. It depends on your approach, but that's kind of our position on.
No free lunch and tickets. Someone's paying.
Correct.
Let's talk about pricing. Jed, I'm interested to have you jump in and talk a little bit about your perspective on pricing and how the secondary market informs that. It's a little bit maybe counterintuitive for some folks, but
the joke is that the secondary market is the greatest indication of what somebody is willing to or not willing to pay for your ticket. So we provide data to our clients, and we're able to show them in real time what's happening with that inventory. For festivals, in particular, we have a lot of clients, a lot of festival clients, where we're looking at different price levels, whether it's GA or VIP or packages and what it is. One of our clients, just in terms of pricing, an interesting story is CMA is one of our biggest clients. And so we've worked with them in terms of data for years so that they can see what's happening with CMA Fest, et cetera. And the first year we worked with them, we have a great data team that really helped them to see what was happening day to day with the 3-day package tickets. And, you know what, it'd be interesting if we split these up into single days. And they got some good return. By the second year we did it, we brought almost $650,000 back to their bottom line just by looking at the secondary data, the highs and the lows of that pricing.
And that was because you helped them price for the next year? Interesting.
And looked, you know what, the single day tickets did really well, and this is where the sweet spot was. I mean, the thing that blows my mind on a daily basis is I've been in the music business almost 30 years. I still manage bands. That's what I've always done, is work for artists. 8 years ago, I got into the ticket business, in this business of analyzing secondary, and so I'm out there talking about the fact that you can't ignore this $12 billion industry, but you can use it to better inform your business on the primary, and a lot of that is pricing. So a lot of it is, I don't know if there's agents in this room, but in the old days, people used to go, oh yeah, I've got a tour? Oh yeah, we'll price it like that. I mean, now you can actually see the evolution of the ticket. You can see the prices of comps in the marketplace. And, we're able to go with our team. I mean, there's over 100 people in our company now, which is bananas, right? So it's, you got a whole data team that's going to help you with pricing to look at comps in the marketplace, what's historicals in your marketplace, especially for festivals. I mean, smaller festivals versus larger festivals, to be able to see, again, what I said at the beginning of this, what people are willing or not willing to pay for your ticket it's really powerful. The secondary data as a separate data set to apply with your primary data, it's really, really something that you should be looking at.
Bryan and Ed, do you help partners think about pricing? How do you come at it from the primary platform perspective? Are you saying, hey, listen, we have no idea what your price should be, that's up to you, and we'll just help sell it?
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing this for long enough to where we definitely help when asked. And I think ultimately just leveraging the platform, our existing platform and the existing data to whether it's, doing an event comparison report, like seeing last year's trends, what they did, versus also obviously recommending they look at other comps in the market. But I think reporting from a comparison standpoint, if you have your ticketing provider can show you a report from last year versus this year and how the sales are trending based on the similar events, like that's obviously probably the place to start, and what we always point our clients to. And then on top of that, obviously, comps in the market.
Ed, any thoughts?
Yeah, I think we kind of maybe take a different approach. Like we wouldn't class ourselves as like a ticketing outlet. We are a kind of all-in-one shop box for experience organizers. And so our mantra really leans on what Jed was saying, which is data is key. I think we see a lot of event organizers kind of leak that data through different sources, and they're maybe not so in tune with that. Our belief is kind of own your customer, own your data, and therefore own your business, and become a data insight expert yourself. And I think the start point of that is understanding every piece of data is extremely important, whether that's to help your conversion rate ROI, whether it's to make sure that you're kind of keeping ownership of a product and not allowing a kind of rival business copy that. So from a pricing perspective, I think festivals themselves can kind of become their own experts, right? If they start engaging with their data better.
Got to have good data to make good pricing decisions. Brando, how do you think about pricing? Because you have an interesting place in the market in that your face price are below always, right? Talk about face price. What does that mean in a dynamic market, and how do you guys, manage that generally?
Yeah, so a face value ticket to us is the price that it takes for somebody to purchase a ticket on the primary market and have it in hand. So whether it's fees, shipping, whatever is included to check out and actually obtain that ticket is face value. And it's the first time being purchased. We understand that there's platinum tickets today, they're dynamically listed, but when you're buying those and you're the first owner of that ticket from the primary market, then that is what the primary market sold that ticket for. So the way we see that is that that's the face value price of that. There was no middleman, there was no markup of profit. That consumer purchased it for the first time. Jed, we would love to get your data to show.
You got it,
We thought this was
Brando.
going to be a steel cage match up here, but we're actually
that was the best one.
Very
When we
disappointing.
had our pre-call, Jesse was like, cage match. Brando, Jed.
ticketing industry can be controversial quite a bit, but I think we all know it well, so we see a lot of facets.
We do have a cage just
No, but-
outside that we could let you guys just
Puppies.
to keep that on the table.
Well, the puppies are here. They were in cages. So seriously, every day I'm pushing a rock up a hill. Secondary, oh my God, it's secondary. What do you do? And guys, it's not going anywhere. For the time being, it's there. Tomorrow, next week, a month from now, your tickets are there. So you have to figure out a way to understand it, or B, work within it to undercut it, to bring money back to your artists, to your festivals, to figure out how to price better, be more efficient. I mean, Brando and I couldn't be more on the same page of trying to get tickets in the hands of fans and money in the pockets of artists. That's it. I mean, that's the game. And I'll talk more about it when we get to it.
How is that different if you're a big festival like Coachella versus a mid-size versus a small? How does secondary differ?
I don't think it's that different at all. As a matter of fact, I think with the smaller festivals, it's even a better opportunity, because with the smaller festivals, there's probably more speccing of the market.
Wait, just redefine that for the room.
Yeah, people listing tickets that they don't actually own at higher prices because they know your festival's not sold out.
What?
And that they could sell it at a higher price and then go buy the ticket on the primary and fulfill the order. So that's reality. And so
Did everyone get that? It's a little bit counterintuitive, but it's like buying a ticket selling a ticket before you own it and capturing the margin.
yeah, and so I mean, and that's a shitty thing for fans, for artists.
And that's more the dynamic for smaller, mid-size, would you say?
Everybody,
Everyone.
I would say smaller though, more so, because the big ones, it depends. It depends on how how hot the marketing is. So stupid. Depends
So-
how well the festival's doing, right?
So recently, CashorTrade joined the Fix the Ticks organization, kind of part of the NEVA syndicate, and we're helping draft legislation around ticketing. We have the Tickets Act in the House and the Fans First Act in the Senate, but then there's about 30 states right now that have ticketing acts. So it's a wild time for ticketing, and there's a lot of changes coming. But with that, almost all bills are having line items that are against speculatory ticketing, which I would imagine would clean up your data.
Well, yes, but also what's great about and what's psycho about me, as you know, is that I can see spec just by looking at the damn numbers now, which is really scary, right? Like I can look at a
Filter it
map
out.
or I can look at an Excel sheet, and I'm as dyslexic as you get. Like I can't do math. I can't do my daughter's 5th grade math. I can't do it. That's just reality. But I can look at a map or look at an Excel sheet and be like, oh, there's spec there. Oh yeah, this is what I see. Oh, this is insane. Like I can read that. But yes, it would clean up our data. And believe it or not, we work with tons of NEVA venues as well to help them understand what's happening in the marketplaces. But yeah, getting back to this, it's all about managing the market. So people come to us and they will say, you know what? We need more people in our venue. Our festival's not doing as well as we thought. There's a ton of inventory on secondary. What do? We'll take your inventory, we'll put it on secondary where we undercut the markets in order to bring people into your venue so that you don't have to go lower on the primary, but that you're able to get people into the venue. You're making that money. Your artists are making that money. I mean, that's the future and the reality of the business.
Do you help festivals or partners where demand is not trending in the direction that it is to sort of have a backdoor of maybe a discounted?
Absolutely.
Because I mean, it's interesting because the festival industry, I think, has done this thing that's brilliant, and every event should, if they could, the event gets more expensive the closer it gets, right? That's a great way to sell because it creates incentive. You guys are enabling that, but talk about like that piece of the equation. If how
100%.
how does it serve the lower demand?
Promoter comes to me and says, we really have low ticket counts. We really are in trouble. Help us get people into our festival. We will take inventory and we will undercut the markets as the markets start to go down. We make sure that you as a festival owner are getting that money and bringing people into your venue. So some of you out there looking at me going, oh my God, you're taking primary inventory, you're putting on secondary, you guys are horrible. Well, no, we're actually making sure you guys are making that money, or your artists are making that money, or people are coming into your festival, buying your beer, but whatever. Our business, my business, our business is all about everybody makes money. The ticketer, the promoter, and the artist. We are not scalpers. That is not what we do. What we do is understand a huge part of the ticketing ecosystem to try to help people actually manage their event or manage their inventory and bring people into their buildings. So hope that made sense.
Yeah, last
And
word
if
on
it
this one,
didn't,
Brando.
ask Brando and he'll tell you what it is.
What I see from a different side, the community side, we work on the ground with fans. It was a fan community from the start, and a show could be sold out, and there's the on sale on the secondary that's very high, and everybody sees that and just expects that's what the tickets are going for. But with the rise of social media, there are communities and a lot of tickets. And a show can be sold out all day long, and that doesn't mean it's sold out. There are tons of extra tickets floating around, and fans are buying, selling, and trading tickets for face value, and that's where CashorTrade comes in.
So are you saying there's no such thing as a miracle in 2024?
Miracles are alive and well.
Okay, good.
And you can give away a ticket on CashorTrade.
Oh,
for free.
there you go.
And if I just want to say one more thing. The other thing I didn't say, but is probably the most important part of this thing, is what we want to do is enable you to sell a ticket where your fan wants to buy it, where your fan is.
Yeah. Well, let's jump off that and talk about another fan-friendly development in the ticketing industry, which is returns. We live in such a return enabled world. Everything is returnable. Tickets have not been returnable, except for reselling. So I'm interested to hear your guys' take on the state of returns in ticketing and how you see that evolving. And let's start with Bryan and Ed on this one.
Yeah, on our end, with our primary clients, most of their, if not all their position has not changed, and that's non-refundable, right? Non-returnable. We do have some exceptions, but I think with what Brando and CashorTrade is doing, I think it's a phenomenal opportunity that everyone who's producing a festival or an event or a venue in here is to work with someone like Brando and CashorTrade, because it fills the void, right, where you're not having to provide a refund, right? So you're still retaining that revenue. And then you're also giving your fan, your customer, a good option to get their face value back. Well, it's a win-win across the board. And I think, it's definitely, I'm going to connect with Brando after this and definitely start using them as a recommended partner, because it is a constant issue, right? Fans get upset. They're like, it's non-refundable. And, the promoter doesn't want to give it back, and which I understand. And it's just, there's no good middle ground. And then obviously you have the secondary side, or, potentially if it's sold out, tickets are even more expensive. So the CashorTrade concept and business model, again, is, I think, a huge win and opportunity for a lot of festival organizers such as yourselves to leverage for your fan, while also protecting your bottom line.
Thanks, Bryan.
Can I join too?
Please.
Okay. Cool. No, I just want to hang out.
Ed's turn.
No.
Go on, Jed. Share the mic, Jed.
Steel cage match.
Go, mate.
The cage match is going. I think we operate as a service for festival promoters. So the decision to not refund a ticket, refund a ticket, access resale, I think from our perspective comes down to our client's decision. It's not our business, and it's their business model. I think our business model is to produce solutions to help our creators achieve what they want to achieve. I understand running a music festival is probably one of the toughest jobs, especially if you're in the independent and you're trying to grow as a business and maintain authenticity in a kind of ever industrialized industry run by conglomerates and sponsorships. And I think that refund piece for your audience, there are many, many independent festivals whose audience group understands like the mission that they're trying to do, and it doesn't have to be a kind of a dirty word that there are no refunds. You kind of engage in that contract. As long as the communication and the connection with your fans is strong, then most people will do that. We actually built an in-house kind of resale tool, which allows customers to kind of go back to the festival creator and say, look, I can't come for whatever reason, and the decision is theirs to refund or not. That's up to them. If the festival has that policy, then their customers can essentially put their tickets back into the stock, and they go at the bottom, and the promoter can decide when to turn that stock.
That's a tool that you guys have in the platform.
It's not a marketplace. A customer will come back to the festival and say, look, we can't go. Festival can say, great, we'll list your ticket back in the inventory, but we'll decide when that inventory gets sold. So if they turn it on straight away, that means that you could be buying a ticket for the first time, but you don't know you're buying it off an existing thing. But I think what is important is, like, in all this conversation is, we're led by the people in this room. Like, if you want resale, then we're software providers who should build you tools to do that. If you don't want resale, again, these customers are your customers. This is your business. Our role in this, and I think that's where at Easol we've taken this kind of role of, like, your customers aren't our customers. We're not involved. You've built a business, you've built a shop, you've built a product. You should interact with your customers how you want to interact, and our job as your partner is to allow you to do that.
Jed, what do you got?
With returns?
Well, you said you had something to add to returns?
No. I respect it. I think what Brando's doing is awesome, and we're probably going to be partners.
Thanks,
we'll probably be partners within 15 minutes of this thing ending. Listen. It's No, I don't. I don't have too much.
Okay. I thought you had a...
No, I
can-
thought I might too, but I don't. So.
Ticket sales, like when you've all been there, finger on that button. Tickets are more and more expensive with inflation and everything, and you're also thinking about how many events you're going to attend this summer, and if you're really going to go to Colorado for that one, or maybe you should do this one because it's a lot closer, and you're trying to weigh it out, hotel rooms, travel, like food, the whole thing, right? So you're about to hit that button, and it's expensive, but if you know that you can have an option to resell it, you're that much more apt to click that button and be like, yeah, I'll go through with it. You know what? Everybody wants these tickets. I finally got through the waiting room or whatever it is. And yeah, I'm going to buy these tickets because even if I don't go, like I have a buddy who will want them, or I could put them out there in CashorTrade or social media or something and get them sold and get my money back. And I think it does encourage a lot more ticket sales up front rather than being like, well, let me go talk to my buddy one more time before I click this button. You want to get them through the gate, And then the other part is that like there's tiered packages today, which you guys know better than I, but there's all these abilities to like upsell and add more services for parking or merchandise now on the checkout. So, you're a little bit more inclined to check out at a higher price as well. So, in an industry that never really allowed returnable options, you could see how there's a lot of benefit. But yet you might not want to sit there and offer a returnable ticket when you're still trying to sell primary tickets. So what we're trying to provide is like a separate marketplace that's always open for people to go list and resell their tickets that partners directly with the event, helping to make that customer feel like they can move forward with that purchase, but yet not necessarily list these tickets right alongside their primary, because you want to sell out and you want to sell your primary tickets, but you still want to provide
financial risk off the table, operational risk in
Thank
the
you.
model where you're sort of feeding it back in. You got to manage that, and you've got skin back in the game for that ticket that you thought you already sold. Interesting. Let's talk a little bit, another sort of consumer-focused piece of the ticketing equation these days, which is other things besides ticketing. So hotels, merch, I know Easol, that's a big part of what you guys are thinking about. Bryan, you sounds like you've had some interesting success with that. Could you guys talk a bit about what you're seeing on that front?
Yeah, look, I think 15 years ago, a festival ticket was what it was. Like, customers would buy a ticket, see you at the gate, in you go, buy some beer. I mean, certainly when I ran my festival, we used to, the P&L was ticket sales break even, and we make all our money on the bars. If it rains, we're fucked. Happens a lot in the UK. But now, the kind of industry has evolved, and we kind of coin it like an experience industry. A festival now is actually more like a holiday, especially for young people where the purses are a lot tighter. I remember as a kid, you would maybe go to 3 or 4 festivals in a summer season and maybe have a holiday. Now the festival is the event, and it's become more of a replacement of a kind of package, holiday that you and your friends would go on. So I think the ticketing companies or e-com platforms, we kind of put it, have got to evolve to allow festival creators to kind of expand their business model and looking at different avenues to bring in revenue.
What do you see getting the most traction?
I think the biggest trend that we're seeing is the rise of destination events, whether that's artist-led or community-led. But a lot of new festival promoters are looking at places in which they can almost, a little bit like we've done here, right? We've taken over a resort and everyone comes and there's like kind of a whole package. Of course, we still service the kind of greenfield site, but even within the greenfield site, it's great to see that festival promoters are thinking more around delivering more variation and upsells. So Roskilde was talking, the guys there, they do a crazy thing. People turn up 4 days before the festival. there's different campsites within the campsite. And that lends itself to a different type of commerce. Now you can say, look, I want to camp near the main stage because I'm crazy and I like to sleep next to the speakers. And that can be a different price package. I want to stay off-site. Great, let's do a deal with a hotel vendor or the Airbnb market that's around. I think festival promoters in the room will understand that for a long time they saw other people making money off what they were doing on the peripherals, and it's now a great opportunity for festival promoters to kind of bring that in-house and start taking their rightful share.
What's a best case revenue lift for someone who's just crushing all fronts? Are you adding 10% to the business? Is it, ballpark?
I mean, like, yeah, I'm finger in the sky, like a 10%, it is great, but it really depends on where you're situated. If you're a greenfield site, I think you can go higher.
Yeah.
The emergence of cashless technology means that fans can pre-buy top-up, and that the uplift on expenditure on site there is crazy. If you turn up with $100 on your wristband, you're going to spend that and more. And I think it's just giving festivals the option to kind of capitalize on.
Yeah. Bryan, what have you seen work on that incremental front?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've offered clients the ability to sell merch and other upsell items across the board, and we continue to see it be more widely adopted, right? Like Boots in the Park, client of ours, they started selling water bottles, reusable water bottles and VIP chairs, and I was shocked at how many of those they pre-sold, which is great because they obviously knew how much inventory they needed. They were making a margin on all of it, and then that on top of everything else. So I think upselling everything from parking to merch to other VIP elevated experiences, there's definitely been a massive uptick in that. I think we've all seen with whether it's hotel rooms or festivals and other experiences, like people are willing to pay a premium for that if the value is there. So I think being creative and like Ed said, and parsing off specific areas that are highly desired and being able to monetize that. And I think one last area, at least with our platform, what I've seen with our clients, is being able to generate more advertising and sponsorship dollars. I think this is highly underutilized and even known, but being able to place sponsors, advertisers throughout the entire purchase experience, even down to the mobile ticket, right? If you can go to a sponsor or an advertiser and say, hey, I'm going to put your clickable logo and banner on 15,000 tickets, there's a lot of value in that, right? And a lot of festival producers, venues, et cetera, they don't leverage that at all, when that could be tens of thousands of dollars annually to their bottom line.
Cool. Okay. I think we're wrapped on the panel, but we've got some time for questions. So thank you guys for the conversation. We'll open it up to the room for any questions you've got for anybody. Yes, please.
I have a question for you, Jed. Hopefully I can be articulate. So you're analyzing the secondary market, which is obviously going to be higher once it's sold out.
No, not necessarily. Depends.
Okay.
It depends. Honestly, truly, if it's sold out, it could still be at face value. It just depends on the event. Truly, it's pretty remarkable.
Okay, well, I guess you answered my question then, because I was worried that that would actually raise, if you're raising except for that you said that you were made
We're
somebody.
going in at face value. It depends on where the client wants to go.
Then how did your guy make an extra $650,000? Wouldn't that have been raising the price?
That wasn't, but that was primary. That's not secondary. So
Right. So my question though is that if the secondary market, if the data that you're getting is raising the price the next year, that's your recommendation. Like, hey, your ticket price can be higher because your secondary market is showing that you're underpriced, right? So then you've got that. Mm-hmm. Then you raise the price, but wouldn't that, in the same scenario, right? Wouldn't that actually raise the price again on the secondary market since you've raised your price? And so my question is twofold. Is it going to destroy the scalper? Or is it just going to keep on raising prices?
Well, my goal is to destroy the scalper and put the money in your pocket. That's my goal. So my goal is to help you as a festival owner or as a promoter understand how much you can charge for your ticket. and what people are willing to pay or not willing to pay for your ticket. And if you're underpricing your tickets and people are willing to pay for your tickets, and in that case, what we were able to do was split up. So we were selling more tickets. So they were not just 3-day passes. You were breaking those 3-day passes into single-day passes. So you were able to sell more tickets in general. And so we were able to not necessarily raise the price of the ticket, but split those, that 3-day pass up. And so if you want, I have a case study on it. If you want to get my email, I'm happy to send it to you so you can see it. But look, at the end of the day, it's about distribution and pricing and being able to sell a ticket where your fan wants to buy that ticket. We have examples of things that we've done where we're seeing 75% new user to the primary. That's insane. So and let me say that again, 75% new customer to the primary by selling through open distribution. Okay, I'm not saying that's in this case of that client we're talking about, but that's a ridiculous number, which means that people want to buy tickets where their app is on their phone, where their credit card is stored, whatever it is. They Google it and they buy the first place that's the goal here, is to sell a ticket where your fan wants to buy that ticket, right? So in this case of that client, I can send you the data so you can see it, but it doesn't necessarily raise the secondary, because if you're making more money on the primary, I think that's everybody's goal in the room, right? So I hope I answered your question. Can't wait.
This is more of a statement than a question. Jamie Loeb, Nederlander Concerts. And we did, we had a few shows with an artist that were underperforming, but had a high amount of listings, on the secondary. And we used Logitix to sell our tickets through the secondary outlets as opposed to everybody else's. And it had a greatly desired secondary result, which was that it drove down the pricing in the secondary. It drove it they chased us down.
That's one of the best things, Jamie. Thank you for pointing that out. Undercutting markets. Look, I think brokers hate me more than ticketers do at this point, because I'm telling everybody in this room what's really happening. But thanks for saying that, Jamie. A lot of the times, this isn't about raising prices. It's about, could be about, not great inventory, distressed inventory. There is no one way to do it with us.
It's about taking control.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Question back.
You do. You don't think you do?
Okay. As a attendee of many concerts and festivals, I wanted to know, with the rise of community rooms where people are buying tickets and selling tickets, there is so much scams that go on there where people are saying, I have 2 tickets for sale, I have a death in my family, and then you go and you arrange for Venmo or Zelle and you never get the tickets. And so this is happening so much now. I mean, they're trolling these community sites, these group pages on Facebook and social media for where
It's horrible.
It is terrible. So what can we do about that?
We work directly with events to kind of help stop that. We actually enter into the socials around their event and make sure that people are using a CashorTrade link to process those transactions. So in partnering with the event, that is one of the services that we provide, and we get the word out with the event to their customers that if it's not through CashorTrade on a secondary, then it's not protected. So even if you are on socials, you got to be processing through this platform, so you're not just like Venmoing somebody out in the world.
I have another great solution. Don't buy tickets on Facebook, number one. Don't buy tickets in chat rooms, number two. Don't buy tickets on Craigslist, number three. Don't buy tickets from a guy in a van who wants to sell you speakers outside of Music Plus in Studio City in 1981.
Process through a
right?
trusted platform.
Go to a marketplace, go to a primary, go to a known secondary, right? So go where you know where you want to buy those tickets, but honestly, I will be in my living room with my wife, and she will say, these tickets at the Pantages are so expensive. Okay, honey, what website are you on? PantagesTheater.info.org. I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm just going to call Jamie. Just relax. We're going to make it all work. But this is the problem. People don't realize what they're doing and where they should be and where they shouldn't be. Thank God for us on this, that we're trying to avoid those scams. But people don't realize. It's shocking, but it's reality.
That being said, there's a lot of power in those social communities, though. They just need to make sure that they're processing through a platform, but they can certainly use those communities to connect with real fans.
I mean, this is probably where the cage match starts, but my take on it is, it's your event, and you should tell your customers to only buy a ticket from you. And I don't really believe the kind of open market of put your tickets everywhere. I think if you're building a product and you've built a shop, people should come into your shop and transact the way you want them to transact, and you should communicate with that this is the only place to buy this product. I appreciate it's difficult in the noise, which is why software solutions like us have to provide ways in which our creators don't have to rely on the secondary market. They can communicate directly with their customers to say this is where we should buy it. But I think it's different in the festival space than the concert and tour space. The concert and tour space is a little bit quick fire. You're buying a ticket, it's kind of instant decision. Most festivals now are kind of high value, and young people or anyone going to a festival, they've got a lot of decisions to make: the weekend, the travel, the accommodation, and you can't get that from different platforms. You can only get that information by coming to the festival website where that information is collated. So I guess my challenge to festivals is own that. Make sure your website is displaying information. Make sure you're constantly connecting with your community. Don't let it leak. You've put a lot of work into creating an experience, driving a customer base. Keep hold of them, hold hands, talk to them all the time. If someone comes to you and says, I can't come, I need to resell my ticket, give them a solution that you've provided, and don't send them somewhere else. And that's ultimately it. They're your customers, so look after them.
But if you're not sold out...
Have I got a website for you?
And what people should do,
I think that
and
what
they
he's
actually
saying
do
is
are two different
perfectly
things.
right. The primary and a face value exchange working together solves that across the board. Primaries are building in these tools to help this sort of return and waitlist option, and it's great. But I think it doesn't cover the whole facet of the game. So I think working together is where we're headed.
In the words of Step Brothers, we just become best friends.